the place for politics.
After having an affair with his married staffer, who happened to be married to another staffer, who happened to be one of his close friends, after being driven to a FedEx by a gang of religious conservatives and made to send an overnight note ending the affair and then meeting his mistress the next day in Vegas anyway, after his parents gave the mistress and her husband $96,000 as a gift, Nevada Senator John Ensign will not resign. In fact, the man who voted to impeach a president for his actions declares his own such actions unimpeachable because, in his words, I haven't done anything legally wrong. Number one story, Senator John Ensign says his extramarital affair is not as bad as President Clinton's was because he did not lie to the public about it, which might not be true, incidentally, and which also puts his Republican colleague Senator Vitter in something of a spot, does it not? In his first string of public appearances since admitting to a legal affair with Cindy Hampton, Ensign making a de facto apology tour in the northern part of the state, and in an interview with the Associated Press, attempting to explain why not all affairs are created equal.
President Clinton, first of all, he was president, and he stood right before the American people, and he lied to the American people. You know, you remember the famous day that he lied to the American people, plus the fact that I thought he suborned perjury.
Joining me now, columnist for the Las Vegas Sun, John Ralston. Thanks for some of your time tonight, sir.
Thanks for having me, Keith.
Any logical reason why the senator should have invoked the former president? I mean, did it not occur to him that anybody could then find his quote from 1998, which was, think about it, he, meaning Clinton, sent taxpayer-paid staff out to lie for him, and that is a misuse of office? Might those words come back to haunt the senator, do you think?
Well, of course they should, Keith. I mean, he said all kinds of things back then. He said during that rehabilitation tour, the de facto apology tour, as you called it, that he was different than Bill Clinton because he didn't do anything legally wrong, as you said. That's not even true, because that's not why he asked Bill Clinton to resign. He said Bill Clinton should resign before the Starr report even came out because he had lost credibility. You mentioned David Vitter. He did no rush to judgment there, did he? He did a rush to judgment with Larry Craig, you know, because he solicited gay sex, which is so offensive to John Ensign, who believes in the sanctity of marriage. And look at the rush to judgment he did with Bill Clinton. It's not John Ensign shouldn't be calling for David Vitter to be impeached. John Ensign, by his own standards he set in 1998, Keith, should be calling for John Ensign to resign.
And the other part of this, of course, the Ensign's lawyer is maintaining that the senator's parents gave the Hampton family $96,000 as a gift. You famously interviewed Doug Hampton, the husband of Ensign's mistress, and he said it was flat-out severance, compensation, essentially. When Ensign says in the AP article, one of the reasons he voted to impeach President Clinton was, I thought that there was a violation of a felony. Couldn't he himself face a felony charge out of a campaign finance law violation because of where that money came from?
Yes, indeed, the Senate Ethics Committee and the Federal Election Commission may be investigating just that. It is a potential felony to not disclose more than $25,000 in severance. As you mentioned, Doug Hampton said on my program that that was certainly severance. Listen, his explanation through his lawyer that it's $96,000, as you derisively point out, in gifts is just not credible because, first of all, they left out one of the kids. Oh, what's wrong with one of the kids? Was he a badly behaving boy or something like that, Keith? No, of course not. This just isn't credible. And the timing. Let's make sure people know when these gifts occurred. They happened exactly at the same time that John Ensign sent Doug Hampton and Cindy Hampton packing from D.C. and back to Las Vegas. Some gift.
We mentioned Senator Vitter, and with this logic, shouldn't he in fact be calling for Vitter to either resign or to be removed forcibly? Because if it's a question of your affair being illegal or illegal, your infidelity being illegal or illegal or legal, prostitution in Washington is still illegal even if you're a senator, right?
Indeed it is, Keith, at least technically. So I guess you would say that he should be calling for Vitter to be out of office, too. He's already defended Vitter, saying he wasn't convicted of anything yet. But again, John Ensign clearly has different standards for Democrats or Republicans who solicit gay sex than he does for himself or his pal David Vitter. I just don't know why he would continue to talk about this and try to say that my affair was less bad than other people's. And first of all, as I said, what what he is saying is patently false about why he called for Bill Clinton to resign. He did not call for him to resign because he thought he committed a felony. He called for him to resign because he had said, quote, he had lost credibility. And again, Bill Clinton, whatever you think of him, did not go around pointing fingers at others. John Ensign has spent his career being up on that high horse. Who is it who really has lost credibility here, Keith?
When you try to keep a very complicated, nonsensical line of defense together, it does tend to fall apart in rather obvious places, even if you don't see how obvious it is. John Ralston of the Las Vegas Sun, great work on this story, and great thanks for your time.
Thanks, Keith.
We all want an America defined by deep and meaningful equality, from civil rights to labor rights, from women's rights to gay rights, from ending discrimination. There are no acceptable limits, and there are no acceptable prejudices in the 21st century in our country.
We have a common task and a common challenge.
Why can't we see that we are all in this together?
18 million of you from all walks of life. Women and men, young and old, Latino and Asian, African American and Caucasian, rich, poor and middle class, gay and straight, you have stood with me. And I will continue to stand strong with you every time, every place, and every way that I can. The dreams we share are worth fighting for.